Hello and welcome to this review/news video for the International Racing League. Today we'll be reviewing the last ever IRL Malaysian Grand Prix for the F1 cars around Sepang, and we will also be reviewing the GT Sport race around Monza, a track which really favours Porsches. We'll start off with the GT Sport League, and as you will just focus on a battle between KAMIKAZE-FOX and Cameron Weston-Edwards, which lasted about 15 minutes, just under half of the race. But getting into the race, Luke Smith took his third consecutive victory, but this time he had to fight for it quite a lot harder, with Jeremy Pope eventually beating him using what he's used in every single race so far, which is his famous two-stop, whereas most of the field using the one-stop. Doc Holliday finished in third position, with Galaxy teammate Philip Blum in fourth. Lewis Bish only fifth for Ferrari, slightly disappointing at their home track, with Convicts Popeye managing to drag the Jaguar to sixth. Cameron Weston-Edwards eventually, after about 15 minutes battling with KAMIKAZE-FOX, finishing in seventh position, with KAMIKAZE-FOX finishing at Tyler R on his debut, finishing ninth. And once again, another double retirement for the Red Bull drivers of Callum Latham and Shark Box on their second consecutive double retirement. Shark retired not due to a crash, unfortunately. It was due to an internet glitch which took him out of the race. But with Pricing's third consecutive victory, he's now into a very, very large lead in the championship. In fact, he's 33 points ahead of Philip Blum in second, with Chris Ryan in third and Lewis Bish fourth. They're both on 38. Doc Holliday is in fifth with Jeremy Pope. KAMIKAZE-FOX, Fly Soup for twos in behind. He's with Karen Weston-Edwards, Killer KD, XX Rambo, Carrington 83, Tyler on his, with just one race under his belt on 2 points, with Callum Latham and Sharkbox on yet to score for Red Bull. In the constructors, Chrysos now have an 11-point lead over Galaxy, with Confox in third. Hot Wheels are just 2 points ahead of Scuderia Ferrari, with Duke, DRS Racing and Red Bull at the bottom of the pile. In the Nations Cup standing, America now 77 points clear of Australia, Britain third, Holland still yet to get off the mark at the bottom of the GT Nations Cup. So we'll move on now to the IRL race, the last ever F1 race around Malaysia, and it was a very, very good race. A pretty chaotic start. Matthew Walder there, you can see he led away from pole position. Sebastian Gonçalves in second, Reese Bibby in third. The two Red Bulls got together at turn one, causing a concertina effect right down the field, which lasted until about turn four. Matthew Elder, though, and Sebastian Gonçalves managed to get away, with Ajera retiring on the first lap after spinning off. But midway through the race, there was a fantastic battle between the two leaders, Sebastian Gonçalves and Matthew Elder, who were miles ahead of anything else, with Gabriel Ryan, a two-time IRL winner, running third for most of the race on his return, with Saba Siktu finishing fourth. He'd later get driver of the day, coming from 18th to 4th, but Sebastian Gonçalves and Matthew Elder, especially around about the midpoint of the race. Many crossover moves, some fantastic battling between the Toro Rosso of Gonçalves and the Ferrari of Matthew Elder, and with Matthew Elder eventually coming out on top, it allowed him to really close up in the championship, with the championship leader Felix Negwa unable to make the race. It meant that everyone behind him, all in that what is now 4 championship contenders, were all able to close the gap. But Brandon Glover, unfortunately, had an absolutely dismal race. A 5-place grid penalty in quali mixed with a very poor race ended that he actually retired from the race without scoring any points, so he was unable to capitalise on Negwa's absence. Cameron Weston-Edwards managed to close the gap from 25 points to Negwa down to just 15, and Alder also now just 30 points behind Negwa, having closed on him by 25. But the overtake of the day didn't actually go to Gonçalves or Elder. It actually went to this move by Toro Rosso driver Sondre Sorhaug, who capitalised on Luke Davies and Brandon Glover seeing each other, with Sondre going for a balls to the wall move up the inside through a flat out left-hander. An absolutely fantastic overtake from Sondre. Now in the Drivers' Championship, we look at the top half here. Felix Negwa still with a 15.5 point lead over Glover and Weston-Edwards. Alder 30 points back. Then a bit of a gap to Prodanov, with Marshall in 5th. Francis McGinn, who's missed the last couple of races, there he is in 7th. Sondre Sorhaug in 8th, ahead of Gonçalves, who moves up to 9th. Quinlan 10th. Luke Smith in 11th, ahead of Joshua Dangle, TJ McLean, Saba Siktu, Lewis Bish, Jorge Correa, James Horworth currently sitting in 17th for Mercedes. As now we will take a look at the bottom half of the table, more towards the relegation zone, with Amadoro, that should be in red. Amadoro is now in the relegation zone. Bibby is now on the bubble in 21st, just half a point safe. And in the Constructors' Championship, Sauber now just 49.5 points ahead of Renault, with Mercedes 51.5 points off in third, having failed to score. I should actually say 39.5 points that Renault are now behind Sauber. Hasser in 4th, ahead of Toro Rosso in 5th, Ferrari in 6th, Red Bull beginning to fade away in 7th. In the Nations Cup, England still well clear. Germany taking a nice battle, but still for 3rd, Macedonia and Scandinavia, both on 78 points, with Scotland there on 70, then Australia and Netherlands also battling for 6th, Portugal, Hungary and Ireland rounding out the top 10, with America, Belgium and Wales yet to get into double figures in the Nations Cup. So join us in a couple of weeks where we will be racing in the GT League around the notorious Nürburgring 24 hours, indoctrinating the entirety of the Nordschleife and the GP track, and we'll also in a couple of weeks be racing back at Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix, which will be live on the IRL channel, provided there are no more glitches with the YouTube.